fire this week.
Cameron Peterson has it. Danilo Petrucci hanging tight.
Bikes are on course, bikes are on course.
Give me only what I need. It doesn't take too much to keep me satisfied. Gotta work for my money and earn my keep. Hunger's got a way to take my man's pride. Out of the wicked, looking to work every woman and man. Pressure and time, said I'm gonna get mine. Out of the wicked, I get to work every woman and man. Well, with pressure and time, I said I'm gonna get mine. Yeah, pressure and time.
Previously on Pressure to Rise.
Green flag, green light to pit out. All stations are waving green. Superbike race 1.
Race 1 at Laguna Seca provided another memorable moment in the legendary corkscrew with a battle between Cam Peterson and Danilo Petrucci.
Here he goes, Petrucci. He's trying to find some room. A little bit of contact. He pushes him wide. Cam Peterson not getting off of it. They're side by side as they head through Rainy Corner. Cameron Peterson has it.
As I started tipping into the corkscrew, I just heard this big old rumble coming behind me. I came up over the rise. He was all the way on the edge of the track. Kind of pushed me into that spot, so I've given up on those a few too many times before. And, you know, especially after last year, the move Baz pulled on me, I was like, man, this isn't happening twice, you know. So one of the best races of my career, I'll never forget that. And to be battling with a guy like Danilo like that was pretty cool.
He closed the line and tried to cross his line, but was nice racing. Even if I lost the battle, but I was happy anyway. For I think we made a good show for the people.
The last 2 or 3 rounds, qualifying's been trash for me. You know, I've been on the second row.
The stranglehold Jake Gagne had on securing pole position was snatched away by Matthew Scholz.
Matthew Scholz we're looking at then goes provisional best through sector 1. This is a great lap from Matthew Scholz. He is surely going to keep his place on the front row of the grid. The question is, how quick is it? Is it P2? It's P1, 123.255. He finds 0.3 of a second in the final split, and that was made up from the corkscrew through Rainy Curve. That was sensational.
Overall, I mean, you can't be sad to get a pole, you know, and it was a really good moment for me and the Westby team.
Yeah, that's by far his quickest lap round, Laguna Seca. So yeah, it was good, really good to get pole.
Thank you.
Although the Westby rider wasn't able to capitalize on his first pole of the season after finishing in 4th in race 1 and crashing out of race 2.
Into turn 5 on the brakes, tuck the front. The bike didn't barrel roll. It's pretty fast there, but he picked it up pretty quickly, but he damaged the bar foot peg. By the time he got it back to the pit, it was done.
He's dropped down to 7th position, 3rd in the championship right now, 22 points back from Petrucci at the beginning of this race. He's going to pull it into hot pit lane and park that motorcycle.
Definitely my fault there, but overall, just leaving Laguna, it wasn't a very good time for us.
Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki rider Richie Escalante continues to show growth in his rookie season with 2 4th-place finishes.
Shape in the middle of 2, Escalante takes that spot. He's going to be looking forward now at the back wheel of Danilo Petrucci, so keep your eye on the 54.
I see Matthew have a problem, I think, with the electronics, so I take the decision to pass in turn 1, and after that, just try to follow Petrucci and Cam. Just I try to push, stay close a little bit, some laps, and now just working on my pace.
Like what I'm seeing from Richie Escalante, his transition from Supersport. He showed up after last season, signed a deal with Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki, expecting to ride in the Supersport class. Some things happened, and he found himself on this GSXR 1000 Superbike and is continuing to learn, now in 4th spot.
When both Tytler cycle riders made the podium in round 4 at MotoAmerica, it seemed they were close to competing for the top step, but they are still looking for something more to get them there.
Our biggest takeaway from the Laguna is we got beat by our teammate, which is never fun. I mean, that's kind of the whole the point behind having 2 riders is you drive each other. So anytime you get beat by your teammate, it's never a good weekend.
So give him +3.
But you know, we learned some things about the bike. We learned some things about what PJ wants it to be. So as with a lot of things in life, the hard events are the ones you tend to learn the most from.
Yeah, you try to stay motivated and just try to, you know, finish the race in the best position that you can. But we just need to make some steps to the Yamaha and Ducati and stuff like that, because we're pretty far behind.
Hey, so it's going to be
happiness is when you result in the bike, is you have a good result, everything in your life is better. And try to enjoy every day and try to enjoy in my training, but when I finish 6th position or 5th position, honestly I'm not happy.
There goes the number 1. He's down into turn number 2.
These guys aren't able to keep pace with him. Again, he's just slowly starting to pull away.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a fight, a little bit more close, but I got off to great starts, which makes life easier. Good first couple laps. I was able to run my pace, do what this Yamaha wants to do.
Jake Gagne took over the points lead in race 2 and left the Ducati team wondering what they have to do to keep up with him early in the race.
It's really, really tough, really difficult, because Jake is unbelievably fast.
You know, Jake doing Jake things, the guy always just finds another gear and pulls something out of the bag.
It's a tight, real tight championship hunt, which is awesome. Like, I'm stoked to be a part of it and be in it, you know, it's racing.
Heading into round 7 at Brainerd International Raceway, the points are tight with 8 races left on the season.
We're already halfway through the year. Again, you're going to keep asking me, but I'm not thinking about points. We're just going to try to keep winning races, and no matter what, all these guys, you know, deserve to be up here.
Time flies. I feel like we were just at Coda a couple weeks ago. Now we're past the halfway point.
Yeah, we need to finish this season strong.
Another double podium on the weekend, which I'm happy about. It seems like we got the ball rolling in the right direction, so looking forward to the second half of the season.
We continue to strive to go faster, and so we look at that as success.
MotoAmerica is back in Brainerd, Minnesota for round 7. The conditions are far better than in 2021, when a forest fire in Canada left the area hazy with smoke and ash.
2 minuti.
Il camion non si sente non girare le moto.
È lontano. Ti ricordo quando vuoi fermarti.
Sì, vediamo quello che c'è
da
fare.
Sì. Poi cambiamo la gomma, mettiamo sull'altra anteriore.
Yep, once we're 4 or so laps in, I will give you a position and a fast time in session, but for the first 4 laps, we'll just show them a blank board.
Gagne's crew chief, John Cornwell, is happy to be back at the track after working remotely last round at Laguna.
I miss Laguna, yes, but it was not the burn that I was expecting, because I think I felt bad enough, like as far as physically. I just realized that if I had tried to go in the shape that I was in, I wasn't going to be any use to anybody. And at least from here, I was able to just focus and just do the little bit that I had to do and recover from that. Numbnuts over there is a hard man to keep up with. Information he had written down here, holy you see the fucking?
It wasn't awful.
It wasn't awful, no.
Yeah. No, a novel. It was a novel.
It was a novel, yeah.
Jake Lewis also makes a return after suffering a broken thumb that required surgery.
It's not fun being home, especially watching someone else ride your bike. That's probably the most tough thing about it. But just as a competitor, you know, I want to be out there, and I just wanted to be at home to recover and try to get ready for this weekend at Brainerd.
His crew chief tries to help him get back up to speed.
So we're at 2 minutes. On the first outing, just get a feel for your hand and, you know, kind of where we're at on the bike. Like, you don't need to push right away, just kind of see where we're at.
Yeah. That, go. Don't be a yeah.
That works too.
Cameron Peterson continues his push to close the gap to Jake Gagne. In his first season with Attack Yamaha, his progress is ahead of most riders to fill that seat in the past.
Had a good 2 weeks off and rode my motocross bike a little bit, played some golf, and yeah, just kind of got ready for Brainerd, and we're kind of starting to get the ball rolling, honestly, with just, you know, my riding and kind of closing that gap a little bit and just being more consistent every single session and every single weekend. So I think just trying to build off of that momentum.
This one rider we had, he would always have the same underwear. I don't even know if he washed them. Ben Attard from Australia. He always wore the same. He's like, he goes, yeah, he's like, oh my God, my Lucky Johns. Where are my Lucky Johns? Because he called them Johns, so you know. Weekend he would run. He was panicky one time. He was like, couldn't find his underwear. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I have to change my stuff every day.
I know. Yeah. Maybe he had 2 or 3 of them. I don't know.
There's a new front tire from Dunlop available for teams to try.
So the front there was 70, this is 105. So we can turn this one down. What's this one? So can you just work with Mick and just turn them down to...
Figure we try to get all the variables in place in this session.
Yeah, now's the time.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the lowest grip tire we're gonna run yet. Like we were talking about before, we just ran that to keep the bike constant. So we're gonna, next time you leave, you're gonna have what I expect the race tire to be on the bike. Okay. So right now we're going to the race tire. What do you think of the front tire so far? Any chattering, anything weird out of the front?
Seems okay right now.
Seems okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels like it has a ton of grip, so it doesn't slide out.
Doesn't give them a feeling.
Yeah. He said 35 feels like our tires when our tires
too much pressure.
La gomma dietro non ce n'è più.
Non ce n'è più.
Dall'inizio ho dovuto guidare molto più morbido perché sennò wap.
Ascolta, davanti, hai capito qualcosa? Perché sacrifichiamo una gomma, la mettiamo nuova e vediamo. Perché se non possiamo spingerci sopra la gomma davanti è inutile.
Sì, spingerci ci posso spingere.
Però è strano perché noi con questa gomma qui in testa abbiamo fatto fino a 20 giri, abbiamo fatto senza perdere troppo.
Andiamo
dietro?
Aspetta. Lo so, guarda un attimo dietro come sono, perché io sento veramente zero grip. Dal posteriore apro il gas e la moto mi va di traverso, ma soprattutto stando così seduta scivola subito, va subito sulla gomma, il davanti me lo tira su, è molto instabile, so fare molta fatica a guidarla.
Ok. Ok, proviamo a alzarlo.
Most quickly realize there isn't enough time during race weekend sessions to fully test its capabilities.
You are one of the few people where we can have this kind of a discussion and be realistic about saying, you know what, okay, there was some stuff. We need to work with it, and maybe we can take advantage of this increased construction, this carcass stiffness. Because that's the generation that's where we're headed with everything. So we need to figure out what we gotta do to take advantage of what that's going to give us. We were trying some things with the bike with an eye towards being able to have some better tire conservation. And this track has always been a bit of a bugbear for all of us as far as making the tires work quickly enough and long enough and consistently enough.
11 minutes into practice 1, and Scholz crashes after putting in 5 laps.
Starting practice 1, you know, I just wanted to get up to speed. I was getting quicker every single lap, and going into the carousel, I think it's corner 9, chipped in and the rear kind of snapped around on me. I had to pick it up, and I was running towards the edge of the track, and the air fence is a little bit close to the edge of the track there, so I just tried to squeeze the front brake a little bit harder. And you know, I think maybe we were only the 3rd section out on track. It was a little bit dirty out there, locked up the front, and ended up landing on my noggin pretty good. And yeah, I mean, got into the gravel trap, tried to stand up a little bit, and my eyes were just covered in dirt. There was just a ton of like dust and sand that got up into the helmet, and my eyes were covered in it, and it was burning a lot. And try to take my helmet off, and the guys were screaming at me to keep it on, but at that point I was more worried about not going blind. So I obviously took my helmet off, got all of the dirt out, and put it back on.
To the point I went braking, and it came around, so I picked it up and went to the edge of the grass, and the front just like locked up on it. And then now the front tire's locked up. Okay, you right? I don't think it locked up from the crash before, but it's locked up now. I was losing all the time because I'm like a 2.5 seconds off, but the first sector I'm 0.4. I mean, honestly, you did 5 laps there, and you're not too far away.
Scholz takes an early exit as the bike needs work to get ready for qualifying 1. Up next, qualifying 1 from Brainerd. Friday afternoon, and the first qualifying session of the weekend provides the opportunity to dial in the settings. Westby was able to rebuild the bike for Q1, and Scholz is putting in better sector times as he puts in more laps.
Vito's come in from the Magneti Morelli factory, and he made quite a few changes on the bike, and they all seem to be positive. So you know, we were really thinking heading to Brainerd we could turn this thing around and start challenging up front again.
That was the first lap. I was like, okay, I relatively put everything together. The rest of them, I missed the apex on corner 4. Yeah. 6 by miles. It's all right. It's the usual. Friday. It will come. You know what I mean? It will come. So just flow. Okay.
Richie Escalante has a cylinder go bad, and his crew feels the pressure.
The one cylinder that's left running when it's on engine braking was one of the ones that was so it's like 10-to-1 air fuel. So we think it's like blah, 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 blah.
The clutch is okay.
Everything in the clutch looked okay. We found that, and it was good after that.
Richie's been pretty good with feedback. Obviously, you know, when he got on the bike, Superbike, you know, I'm not to say intimidated, but realised it was quite a big step, you know. With the 600, he had really high corner speed, and he's brought some of that with the Superbike. So, you know, and some really big lean angle we see. I've seen some over 60, and be over 60 and not crash, that's a lot.
Petrucci trims off 0.4 of a second and gets within 0.2 of Gagne.
I need to get used to this kind of track really full of bumps, but our bike doesn't like so much that kind of track and bumps. We miss a lot of traction and stability. The first part of the track is really flowing really fast, but then from the carousel on is really narrow, and for me I must say that the walls are too close. Surface of the track is not really good, and this makes just everything more difficult and more scary.
You good? Good. Skids and wheelies, Holmes.
Gagne is on his way to another provisional pole and starts to test tire wear in race conditions.
How did that front tire feel?
A lot better than that other one.
39.9. What?
39.9.
Not bad, dude. 39.9. Hey, come on over here, Hunter.
What was it at?
39.9. So it didn't didn't bump itself up like it has been in the past.
No, that's a nice amount, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Said that front tire feels a lot better than the other one.
Escalante's crew realizes the tire pressure was too high earlier in the session.
What about the rear?
It was 31. It was 10 high.
On the rear as well?
Yes.
Say
me.
So you're lucky you mic'd us just right now. You're getting plenty of excitement.
Cameron Peterson is dealing with pump issues, and the team tries to solve it.
Well,
so that tire was a little bit better for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it helped the pump a little bit, you know, with that new tire, but these things go off pretty quick, and as soon as the thing starts to spin up,
pumps.
It gets like, and it's mainly caused by a bump. Like the initial spin's okay, and then if I hit a little bump, it will start the pump, and it.
Mainly in the fast section?
No, I mean like even through this stuff, like coming
slow
out
stuff.
of 3 off of the back straight.
So it jumps off the bump? Does it feel like it jumps off the bump and starts
Yeah, like actually even out of turn 1, there's been a couple times where the thing, I get a pretty big tank slapper.
Okay. All right. I'll open up that rebound quite a bit, see if we can go over the bumps a bit better.
Yeah.
Matthew Skoltz and Westby are still playing catch-up as they missed most of practice 1. Skoltz sits in 4th.
Good.
Yeah, what the rest of the guys did?
Didn't step up that much. So you sort of hit that, 31.6, 31.7, and didn't go much faster. So they went.
No, that was around at everyone else.
So
that clear lap on the last lap, I did a 31.4, and I didn't feel like it was a great lap.
Yeah.
But my quickest was a 31.2, right?
No, I don't think you went 31.2, did you? Let's go back in the call. So they were about 0.4, 31.3 I got.
With everyone's thoughts on Friday's accident, there's an unusual tone at the track that is rarely felt.
What happened yesterday on Friday was something that we will never get used to that, and it's always really difficult to go through. Just I just felt dirty, you know, to continue to go racing, but we are here for the same reason. We like to go racing, but every time we are in the situation, one part of me wants to run away and close myself into my house and say, okay, just shut off this bike. And the other part, we are here for this, and my thoughts are with Scott's family and his friends and everyone. and it's really tough to understand.
Okay, so it's already selected in TC. So, but remember, you're going to start in -1. If you want more TC,
yes, go up to 0.
0.
Okay.
You can scroll across if you want, but it's in here right now. Okay. The tyres, obviously, they're the used tyres. We get a read on there, but we're potentially, we're going quite early with the other ones because I think we can get a decent run on them. But I want you to feel what it's like with the used tyres. Okay.
Qualifying 2 in the morning. Have a very good strategy with my team to finally battle for the maybe first round. I feel great with the bike.
At the beginning of Q2, Richie Escalante puts in only 1 lap and crashes in turn 12.
In turn 12, when braking, I pressing a little bit more the brakes and I have a big moments and I try to control the bike, but then a big impact with the asphalt, so I have too much pain and very sore on my leg, but nothing is broken, and a bit concussion. I'm very sad. Right now I'm strong and feel I can close the gap with Gagne and also finally battle with for the podium. But racing is like that. Sometimes you crash, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So 3 weeks for Pittsburgh, so recovery 100% and ready for the next one.
And we are currently P11.
Hector Barbera is struggling to make progress and can't seem to get comfortable with the setup.
We're short Hector's electronics guy this weekend, and he wasn't able to make it to this race. He had a prior commitment. So, we're working with one guy trying to divide his attention between 2 riders, and, just that didn't help us.
Still too stiff?
Maybe too stiff or feel too much old. Yesterday when I tried that one, feel my bike is relaxed. Today, feel my bike is...
A new front tire was introduced here this weekend, and we tried that a couple of times and maybe lost the way because we were messing with that tire. And when we went back to what we'd been running, things kind of came back better for us. But we lost a lot of time.
Now he feels like it's too stiff in the front. We don't know if maybe it's the tire. We have to go though. We have to make a decision.
With around 12 minutes left in the session, Petrucci crashes between turn 5 and 6.
It's in a really weird spot. I don't know if he ran off maybe on the exit of 5 and ended up there.
I was too aggressive with the throttle turn 5, and my bike sent me to the moon, and I slide all along the track, and I lost a bit of skin, and especially I twist my knee.
2 minutes later, the red flag comes out when Scholz crashes in turn 11, which is close to the Westby tent along pit lane.
Try to pivot the bike a little bit quickly on the very edge so I could pick it up and drive hard, and just kind of tuck to the front.
Just settle down.
It kind of seems like the outside of the track, that the grass and the gravel trap is raised from where the track is, so I think that's where most of the damage came to my back and my wrist.
Well, I'm trying to tell him to settle down and not move, so I'm not about to jump over. We went out on some used tyres. We really wanted to simulate the low grip towards the end of the race, and he went really fast. In actual fact, he ended up doing his Q time on 14 lap old tyres, put new tyres on, and unfortunately lost the front. He'd already hurt his wrist the day before, and as soon as he came back, as soon as I sat him down, his hand was already starting to swell up.
Just got to go into the first race and just try to do as well as I can. I'm going in there a little bit injured, but I mean, I've been here before, so it's got to dig down deep and just hopefully try to be a part of that podium battle.
At the end of Q2, the grid is set. Gagne is back on pole, Cameron Peterson P2, Petrucci P3, with Scholz and Hayden Gillum finishing out the second row. Richie Escalante will sit this one out due to his crash in Q2 and hopes he will feel better in time for race 2.
We are green and ready to go, and a very fast and fun turn 1 waiting this Medallia Superbike field. And a good launch from your pole sitter, Jake Gagne. Right behind him is his teammate Cameron Peterson, and look at Matthew Scholz, who is part of the walking wounded. For the left wrist injury, he got a good launch too, but here comes Petrucci up the inside of Peterson.
Petrucci slotted himself into second, trying to stick with Gagne early.
As he gets it a little bit deep into turn 3, probably thinking he had to defend that line, but Petrucci holds on to second, Peterson, Scholz, and it looks like Hayden Gillum with a great start for the 69 of Hayden Gillum.
Hector Barbera makes a mistake and runs off track on the opening lap.
Unfortunate for him and the team, as Barbera was your 8th qualifier.
On lap 5, Peterson closes the gap to Petrucci, ahead of him in second.
I expect Cam to do something with him probably between turns 1 and 2.
I think it's one of those things where you just have to be a little bit more patient than some of the other tracks with a brand new tire, you know. Here it seems like that jump isn't that much and you kind of let the tires come in before it just feels consistent.
Before the halfway point of the race, Hector Barbera returns to pit lane.
What's up?
It's impossible to ride. Impossible to ride, impossible.
Hector Barbera garnered no points with a DNF. With 5 laps to go, Petrucci starts to pull a gap on Peterson.
31 flat that last time. That's the fastest lap of the race for Petrucci in second place.
With 2 laps to go, Petrucci makes a mistake and runs off, allowing Peterson the advantage.
Oh, and it looks like Petrucci off the track.
He gets into turn 12, and Cam Peterson had started to close that gap back down.
So angry because I did a mistake. I hit the neutral and I go wide out of the track and yeah, lost the second position. Was bad. We will try tomorrow again.
Gagne brings home his 5th win in a row with a more than 5-second margin of victory. His teammate Cam Peterson takes second and Danilo Petrucci rounds out the podium. Scholz grinds out a 4th place points haul despite his injured wrist. PJ Jacobsen manages to overtake Gillum for 5th, while P6 is Hayden Gillum's best Superbike finish of the season.
It's been a difficult weekend for all of us with what happened yesterday, so maybe if you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, what can I say? I mean, to lose a racer is, it's the worst case scenario, right? It sucks. And, we're still here. We got to do our job. We got to go racing. But at the end of the day, man, we're all up here. We're safe. We're blessed to be racing. And, I don't know what to say. Just, thoughts to the families and everybody involved and everybody in the series. We're all like a family here, big family, even if we don't exactly know everybody that's running around this place. We're all here for a reason and because we love racing. And so, I mean, when stuff like that happens, in a way, it's hard. It's hard to wake up and go racing, but we got to put our helmet on and forget about it and try to do our job.
A small rain shower moved its way through the area early Sunday morning. Some teams made the decision to sit out the warm-up session since the track will be dry by race time.
Maybe a little bit dangerous because in some patches was wet, not completed the ride.
All we were going to gain in warm-up was just having him feel what the arm felt like after yesterday's race. The risk of just slipping off on a wet patch was too much.
Those that chose to ride were able to gather valuable data for mixed track conditions.
We tried some things that we figured out yesterday that we changed on the bike with electronics in the chassis. So this morning we did 2 laps and tried to get enough of a dry corner to figure that out at full speed. So it seemed like it was a bit better.
I'll go out in just a couple minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll just go spin around. I just, like you said, want to see where he's sitting and what to watch out for. If we get, especially if we get a sprinkle before the race, then I'll know where it's going to be sitting at.
Just a short time before race 2, Westby made the call to keep Matthew Skoltz out of the race.
We came to see the doctor. Dr. Jim felt like he could still leave that decision up to Matthew. Had to take it out of Matthew's hands because he's going to try and ride whatever, but we've got to make a decision for the team and long term.
I sat down with the team, we took a look at the hand, and it was considerably more swollen than it was previously.
Decided that he's not going to ride race 2, but we need to be 100% fit, ready to go for Pittsburgh.
Richie Escalante was absent from the starting grid again for race 2 due to injuries suffered earlier in the weekend. The weather is somewhat ominous as the concern for possible wet conditions lingers.
And the clouds have rolled in here, and so there is definitely skies that are threatening. We'll see if we're able to get these 18-lap races off without a hitch. Away we go. Cam Peterson looked like he got a good launch from the second spot in the grid, but position on the racetrack goes to Jake Gagne, so he's going to be number 1. But look at Petrucci trying to sweep around the outside.
Jake Gagne sets the pace, while Petrucci makes early mistakes, trying not to lose touch with him.
At this point of the championship, I have nothing to lose, so I say, need to try to stay as close as I can to him. I think third or fourth lap, I ran wide again and into the penultimate corner, and he was able to create a gap.
Did you see that? PJ Jacobsen almost got in the back of him. Petrucci and Cam in deep into turn 8. Cam looks like he's just got that same almost kind of issue again, where the rear of the bike just doesn't look settled early for the 45.
Cameron Peterson is fighting to get by Petrucci, and PJ Jacobsen is just behind him, looking to join the podium fight.
I got a decent start, and I felt like I was hanging on to those guys for a few laps, so it was quite good to be there and not be so far away.
On lap 10, Gillum overtakes Ashton Yates and looks to chase down Barbara.
Hayden Gillum's looking for a way past right now. Let's see if he can get it done before they get to turn 2, Greg. He does. He gets he's really fast through turn 1.
Originally, the goal was stock 1,000. That was what we were going to focus on. That was it. We've got kind of a hybrid Superbike now we've got a swing arm, a motor, and triple clamps. So we're slowly just kind of building the Superbike as we go, not really getting to test it. We're testing it at the races. I've been trying to catch on to the back end of the Superbike boys, and today was finally, kind of everything started clicking a little bit.
With 5 laps to go and more than a 4-second lead, Jake Gagne makes an uncharacteristic mistake and suffers a huge crash.
I think Gagne just fell. I heard something.
I did too. I think Gagne's down.
He did. Yeah, I heard it.
Jake Gagne has crashed out of this race, and Petrucci goes by. And there's a look at a fresh and lean progressive Yamaha in pieces on the ground.
Wow. I threw away a win, threw away some points, and threw that Yamaha through the dirt really good, so I'm just sorry to the team. 100% my bad. Obviously, it sucks to finish the weekend like that.
And Danilo Petrucci, fist in the air, takes a checkered flag and his 4th MotoAmerica Medallia Superbike race win.
Petrucci takes the win with Cam Peterson 6 seconds behind him in P2, and PJ Jacobsen gets his 2nd podium of the season, finishing 3rd. In 4th, Hayden Gillum with a personal best finish, and Hector Barbera rounds out the top 5. There's a 2.5-week break before MotoAmerica heads to pit race in Pennsylvania for round 8.
Syrah.
Hmm?
I said K Syrah.
Yep, exactly. We got, what do we got? We got 3 left.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Bubba.
It's on me, man.
What happens, buddy?
I know.
Petrucci capitalizes on Gagne's crash, scoring 25 points for the win and swinging the standings in his favor, while Gagne scores 0 with a DNF.
Had the points lead for a real short stint there, but you know, I'm sure, I don't know where we're at now, but I threw that one away, threw away a lot of points today, so yeah, we just gotta take it race by race, do what we can, and try to rebound.
I haven't had any look at the championship because with Jake, I feel like he's never in trouble. We definitely need to win again because for sure he will be angry than ever in the next races.
You know, we got through this weekend with 2 podiums, and now for the rest of the season, I want to get a couple more wins under my belt and fight for this championship.
The last few races haven't been good, so considering the circumstances, I don't think we can be too upset about it.
Well, I'm really happy for the whole team, and I'm proud of them for the job that they've been doing this year.
What we've done thus far has helped us to, you know, kind of establish the team. I'd like to get out there and win a race, but, you know, we'll try.
Jake Gagne's crash in race 2 left him with only 25 points on the weekend. Petrucci, with a 3rd and 1st place finish, gives him a 13-point lead over Gagne. Cameron Peterson holds on to 3rd after 2 second-place finishes with 215 points.
We're going to go to pit race, we're going to go to New Jersey, and we're going to go to Barber. Richard said something to me on the phone the other day. He said, you know, this is going to come down to the last race of the year. And I agreed. And I believe that it will, and I'm really happy about that. I think it's a great for our sport to have that intense competition and, you know, the anticipation of having a good battle. Points-wise, maybe we'll see those 2 guys get together on a race weekend somewhere where they're actually shoving each other around a bit, and that'll be fun too. But the goal is that it's only 13 points. We came back from farther than that after Coda and Atlanta. So
for me, we are tied in the points because with this Jake, you cannot make any calculation.
Put this behind us, go racing in Pittsburgh, you know, that's about it. You know, nothing else changes, the same game plan, just go out there and do what we can, try to win some races and see what happens.
Only 3 rounds remain, with a maximum of 300 points up for grabs. While Petrucci leads heading into pit race, defending champ Jake Gagne and his teammate Cam Peterson are ready for the fight.